In this video, I will show you a dry cutting technique I like to use when removing less than 3 inches from the length. If I have a large transformation cut, I will remove length wet with a razor and then detail, like in this video, when it's dry. If your client is getting color, doing the cut first dictates the color placement with the new shape. Notice how my model is smoothed out natural fall with very little bend. This is very important in order to see the shape. Take a slight diagonal forward section right at or under occipital, depending on density of hair. Establish the length, keeping it 1/4 to 1/2 inch longer than final desired length. I like to use my texturizing shears for this cut because they remove length and weight at the same time while keeping the finished look soft with lots of movement. When cutting the perimeter, always stand behind the head so that you don't round up on the sides. You will want to keep this section square. This will ensure that if or when you want the sides longer, this area won't fight with the shoulders. It also won't get so heavy behind the ears. Notice how my shears are entering at a slight diagonal to the hair to remove length, but also removing weight as well. Once your perimeter is established, use your comb to determine elevation for graduation. Hold the comb flat to the head at the top of current section. The angle of the comb is the angle at which you will hold to cut the hair. This technique gives you a more modern graduated bob result, plus it's easier and way more fun. Using your texturizing shears, deep point cut to remove the length and weight at the same time, while keeping the line as soft as possible. This will keep your graduation smooth with no shelves or weight lines. Make sure that you are still standing directly behind the head in order to keep weight behind the ear. You can always remove excess weight later. This way, you won't get a hole below the ear. Once this section is done, bring down your next section from right below the crown to right behind the ears. You will use the same pivot point for the entire back of the head. Determine once again your elevation by placing the comb parallel at the head right above the section you are cutting. Remove length and weight, keeping the line as soft and feathered as possible. Once again, make sure that you are standing directly behind the head in order to keep the weight behind the ears. Notice how the ends remain textured and soft with no harsh lines. Overdirect this section back towards yourself. This overdirection will ensure length and weight to the front and the sides. Notice how my elevation in this section relates to our comb trick. Bring down your next section from right at crown to the same pivot point behind the ear. Establish your graduation using the comb to head trick once again. Find your guide by lifting the hair. Notice how deep my scissors go in order to remove sufficient weight. Make sure you are still cutting square and still standing directly behind the head. As you finish the graduation for each section, make sure you cut excess length at perimeter behind the ear. This will keep your perimeter line strong. Once your graduation is established, you can go in vertically to remove more weight if needed. Not all hair types will need this. Go through hair at nape and remove what weight needs to go and continue to chip away at perimeter line. Next, take a radial section to your behind the ear pivot point at the same point I have used throughout this video. Establish your elevation and continue to chip away the weight and length. Do not cut this area too short. You are at the crown now and it can easily jump. Remember to keep the sides square and you are still standing directly behind the head. Once length of graduation from crown and top of head is cut, go through and take out weight needed using vertical sections. This will keep it softer than using horizontal sections and will allow you to cross-check at the same time. When texturizing vertically, make sure you do not pick up any of the same hair. If you use a moving guide, there will be rows in between the sections that get over-texturized. Now let's move to the sides. Take a horizontal section above the ear, right below the parietal ridge. Comb the hair in a forward motion around the ear to expose the under hairs before you cut the perimeter. This saves time later and prevents those little hairs that poke out underneath. Once length is established, comb hair slightly back to connect to the back. Then comb straight down and fine-tune the perimeter, making sure that the head is tilted away from the shoulder while at perimeter line. This will give you more room to cut and you will not fight with the shoulders. Once the length on this side is established, move to the other side and establish length before bringing down the next section. This will allow for better symmetry because the sections are at the same point of reference. Now bring down the top. I'm going to give her a nice side-swept fringe. By taking a bigger section for this type of fringe, she will get more of a statement piece while fixing her at-home chop. First, comb at natural fall, then establish a loose length visually where you want it to be. Comb opposite way, cutting from short to long. This will give a nice tapered graduation to the fringe and help it sweep across the forehead. Then connect the top to the perimeter. I like to slightly elevate to create softness at the perimeter. Go through freehand and connect the front to the back. Once that side is connected, connect to the back by elevating the hair back and slightly up. Then cut off excess length. Notice how my fingers are moving in an upward motion while doing this. This ensures you won't get a shelf and keeps the graduation soft and seamless. Move to the other side and do the same, taking out weight where needed for final detailing. You can use horizontal and vertical sections to remove weight. This will once again allow for a cross-check while you remove weight and/or length. Go through the haircut and detail. You can pull out all the tricks. In this case, if I see anything heavy, I just grab it and thin it, or I just stick my scissors right in. Now we can remove that excess weight we created behind the ears in order to not get a hole. I like to pick up what I see as being heavy and debulk in one grab. Section off hair above the crown/swirl and clip away. Go through hair in that section and remove any necessary weight by freehanding with your shears. Once you are happy with weight removal, bring down the hair at the crown and continue to freehand. Continue on to the other side behind the ear and remove the excess heaviness by picking up the heavy section and debulk by going in deep with your shears. Continue thinning the other side using vertical sections and debulking. Make sure your shears are always moving. Never close the shears twice in the same spot. Notice how I drop out perimeter hair and hairline hair before I thin that section. This way you will avoid thinning your perimeter. Now you can connect the front to the back by picking up the section and connect the two. Check for balance and continue to visually detail. Typically, the hair at the nape will need another once over after the shape is established. Making sure the nape is debulked out enough will give this haircut longevity that your client will love and keep them coming back to your chair always.
At Genus, we believe all hairdressers are artists. Thank you for spending time with us, and I hope this video inspires your craft.